Hi, we are going to discuss a case of bilateral vestibular hypofunction. Our patient is a 30-year-old woman diagnosed with Dandy syndrome. Her chief complaints are oscillopsia, balance dysfunction, and trouble reading with head movements. Her presentation is a wide-based gait. She reports falling several times a week, sometimes on the stairs, is currently unable to drive, and has trouble scrolling while reading a screen. With this patient, we expect to do a complete neurological exam. Some of the impairments we expect to find are trouble with gaze stability, and this can be diagnosed with a head impulse test. For this patient, we expect it to be bilaterally positive on both sides, indicating that she has to perform saccadic movements to get back onto the target. Also with gaze instability, we would expect impairments on the DBA. As far as balance assessment we would do, we could perform a modified sit-sim, and we expect to see impairments with this patient. Also a 4-item DGI. As far as assessing symptomatic reports or subjective symptomatic reports, we can also have her fill out an ABC and a DHI. All these outcome measures have been validated in a vestibular population. Now that we've finished discussing our examination, I'm going to show you an intervention commonly used. It is considered a substitution exercise for gaze stability called saccadic eye head movements. First, I take 2 targets. In this case, I'm going to use my thumbs. I look at the first target with my eyes and then follow with my head. Moving to the other target in that same progression, eyes and then head. Can you demonstrate for me? Good job. How do you feel with that? Do you feel like you could perform that at home? Okay. So I'm going to incorporate that exercise along with a few other ones as part of your home exercise program for these gaze stability exercises. What I ask of you is that you try to perform these 3 times a day for a minimum of 20 minutes. Does that sound doable? All right. So one more thing I'd like to review with you while I have you is part of the patient education I go over with patients commonly. So I know you're falling a lot in the home. Some things I would recommend is that you try to get rid of obstacles that you might easily trip over. If you have any throw rugs, if you have toys around, if you have kids. Other things to mention is making sure to turn on the lights even if you get up in the dark to go to the bathroom. And again, be more aware of your surroundings if you're walking over unlevel terrain, especially gravel. Do all these things make sense to you? Okay, and as we work together, we're going to start with some of these core exercises, but there's different ways to progress them. So like the one I showed you, we might change the distance of the targets, we might change the speed at which you perform eye head movements. We can also work on changing the background. We might get targets on a screen, since I know you're having trouble looking on a computer screen. And we'll just work to progress within your tolerance and symptoms. How does that sound?